permit me to recognize the presence of my cabinet colleague, in particular, the Senior Minister, the Honorable Vance Amory, who was to have been in Nevis, but he said he wanted to be here. Let's give him a special hand of welcome. I want to thank the Honorable Ian Patrice Liebert, our Minister responsible for public infrastructure and other activities. Give him a special hand of welcome. Equally, I must recognize and thank the Honorable Jean Hamilton, our Minister of Agriculture, Human Settlements, et al. The Excellencies of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, it is a special delight to have you, and in particular to recognize the presence of His Excellency Tom Lee, the distinguished representative of the government of Taiwan. I recognize also our own local ambassadors in His Excellencies, Mr. Michael Powell and Ambassador Sidney Osborne. To all the other special invitees, in particular our permanent secretaries, Mr. Petty, Mr. Hodge, who spoke, and Mrs. Stapleton Harris, I bid you all a special welcome, and I'm particularly delighted to recognize Tajon Walters and to thank him for saying thank you on behalf of all the awardees. Today, like the last 15 years, is a very special moment. And for me, every moment of interaction with the people of Number 7 is particularly special and memorable. Because I stand today tall and strong and confident. Because you, the people of this, my constituency, has always treated me better than I deserve. And so I say a hearty thank you. The chairman has said that we are commemorating and will be next month the 25th anniversary of service to the people that I love and the people who always showed me love. And for this, from the bottom of my heart, I say thank you. 25 years ago, I never imagined that my life will be one of a politician. And if I didn't imagine that I would have been a politician, I could never imagine that I would be the Prime Minister. I only wanted, way back then, growing up, to be a teacher. Because throughout my own educational experiences, I had always had excellent teachers who impacted upon my interest in learning. Teacher Miss McCall, I remember at Atlas, teacher Miss Esdale. And I remember Miss Esdale for her eyes. Interesting. Beautiful eyes that look so different to mine. When you see her next time, look at her eyes. But always, teachers made the difference. And so today I want us to give all the teachers in the education system a round of applause. For day by their action, day by their intervention, day by their consideration, can make a difference in the trial. Subtle, little, simple things. A touch. The combing of the hair that is uncombed. The buttoning up in the correct way of the shirt and the blouse. All are signals from which students learn. And I hope and wish that the students, the teachers rather, that we are molding, would enter our classroom with love, caring, consideration, in addition to the technical knowledge that they must have. I have the deepest respect for teachers, and I want to single out my head teacher who gave me some hard licks, I believe it was, with an electric wire. Back then it was okay. I want to single out teacher Susanna Lee, of all people, was a disciplinarian, and to thank her for the role that she has played. I heard Mr. Hodge said that she was the head teacher at Joshua Obadiah Williams Primary School, better described as the Molyneux Primary School. But she was the head teacher at all the schools in the constituency. For she had responsibility for the Lodge Project Primary School. She was head teacher at the Estridge Primary School. And it was at Tabernacle that she gave me licks as the head teacher of that school. She was head teacher at the Sadler's Primary School. So let's give Susanna Lee a round of applause. I want also to thank the chairman, Sir Patrick Welcome, because he taught me at primary school in the Methodist School Hall that we used then adjoining the Methodist Church. Let's give him a round of applause. And equally, I want to recognize the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Osmond Petty, for he taught me maths at fourth form or fifth form at the Kearn High School. Let's give them all a round of applause and thank you for being there. There is perhaps a subtle message that teachers never know what will become of those who they teach. You never know. And therefore, you give it of your best. I want to recognize all the parents, fathers and mothers, father figures, and those who are standing in as mothers also for these children. It is important that you are here, not only because this is a very special moment, but because you want to set the example and to demonstrate to your child or children that you will always be there. The research has shown that in our societies, perhaps going against our own intuition, it is not the teacher that is the most important factor influencing the learning experience of the children. The research of over 5,000 students in the OECS indicates that the most important factor is the parent. So parent, you are special and you are important. Children learn better when they know that their parents are interested in what they do. When they see their parents going to the PTA meetings, when they see their parents coming to see them on the sports field, when they see their parents joining their class to go to church on a special day or even every Sunday. The involvement of an interested parent makes the difference. That is what the research has shown. And I hope, therefore, it will guide and encourage more of our parents to be involved all the time. And you don't have to know the modern maths or the modern English to encourage your child to learn. Just by asking the right question, just by asking whether there is homework, just by visiting the teacher to ask how your child is doing can provide positive motivation. So I want to congratulate you for this, for coming out. Let's give all the parents a round of applause. Dr. Wellcome, in his remarks and intervention, gave the rationale for the Help a Child program. Indeed, it is true to say that this program grew out of my own personal experience as a young man who grew up in the village of Tabernacle. And I came from a very large family. My father, who hailed from Cotton Ground in Nevis, served some 33 children, and I was one of them. And you know, in those good old days, it couldn't be easy to be one of 33. But that had very special lessons. And for me, and many of my siblings, being, as it were, among the last batch of children that he served, I was, in particular, able to rely on the kindness and consideration of many of my older brothers and sisters. I recall the excitement I had way back then when the opportunity had come to go to Keyon High School. In those days, you had to pass an exam to go to the secondary school. It wasn't automatic. And when we had the opportunity to go, we also had to deal with the reality that you needed uniform, you needed shoes, you needed socks, you need to outfit yourself. And it was one of those 33 siblings who came forward and provided a special gift for me with my first uniform. That was my brother, Lionel Nisbet. Let's give him a round of applause. I remember too that having graduated from the Keyon High School, where Ambassador Sidney Osborne was my head teacher, and he was an interesting head teacher, somewhat like Van Samely was, I am told. For Mr. Osborne, way back then, would wait at the gate for you to come late, and he always had a belt in his hand. And discipline was swift and harsh, and was intended to bring about corrective behavior. But after Keyon High, I went on to Basti, a sixth form. And I recall one day I was in a shop having lunch. And one again of my 33 siblings, this time a nurse, Vida Nisbet, who was living at Chadwell, called me and said, "How come your mother have you spending money here? You don't know where I live? Come to my house for lunch." She intervened. And those times when it was difficult to get money to consider lunch, I know where to the shortcut to get to Shadwell, to her house. These experiences largely left me with an attitude of enduring gratitude and thanksgiving. Where would I have been had it not been for the intervention of family and the friends of my family? So this evening I say publicly thank you to my older brother and one of my older sisters, Lionel and Vida. Could you help me give them again a round of applause? I have also come to appreciate even more the importance of family. That is why the salutation that we have adopted for the Team Unity movement of family appeals so well. The good thing about family is that you can't choose them. You just have them. And you have to learn to live with them, for better or for worse. For me, it has been for better. So I want today, even as I recognize their support, which had become critical over the last 25 years of public service, to say thank you to my family for their love, their caring, and their support. The fundamental unit which recreates society is the family, where children learn what it means to be a human being, how to love and sacrifice, which are the defining characteristics of our society. This means that the job of the mother is the most vital one in our societies, as this is where all children receive their training. And I know in many of our households, the mothers are also the fathers. So let's give the mothers again a loud round of applause. And I say thank you for standing for and with these children and with all children. Fathers are very special. And so I want to invite all the fathers who are here to stand, and we give the fathers a round of applause, because we need more of our fathers to be standing in support of their children. Thank you very, very much for coming. You see, beyond secondary school, I was also fortunate. Maybe this was destiny, because after secondary school, or when I would have completed my sixth form, I was encouraged by my teachers to try what was then called the University of the West Indies Scholarship. It was a highly competitive scholarship, because for you to emerge, you had not only to be the best performer on St. Kitts, you had to be the best performer in the sub-region of the OECS. And so I attempted that, and I succeeded. In fact, I did it twice, and twice came out on top. I had challenges in getting to go, and it took a professor, Leslie Robinson, a professor of maths, to have journeyed from Mona to come to St. Kitts, collaborated with Constantine Richardson, who was then at the University of the West Indies, and together they worked out a plan that got me into Cave campus of the University of the West Indies. After Cave, and completing my studies at Cave, I was awarded the first class honors, and I was lucky enough to be a judge, the best accounting student in the program, and receive a prize for that. And having come back to St. Kitts, I felt an inadequacy in my knowledge as I went about working at S.L. Horsford and Company. And I was encouraged by Dr. Robertine Chatterton, who was one of my lecturers at Cave, to do the master's program. She said, "You have a first class." It has been the practice that the university, once you get a first class, should help you with your master's. That didn't work exactly as she had predicted. But nonetheless, I went on to Trinidad St. Augustine campus to do a master's degree in management, majoring in accounting. And at the end of that program, I was adjudged the best performing student ever in that program and they gave me a master's degree with a distinction. I was thinking then of coming back home and what I would do and where I would find work. The normal things you would consider on completion of your degree. And while there, I could remember the head of the department, Mr. Sims, came to look me up. And he said, "Mr. Harris, I want to talk to you." Well, I am a well-behaved child since I am small, so I wondered why he wanted to talk to me. What had I done? I went to see him, and he said, "I've just came from a discussion, and all the lecturers spoke highly of you. The university has determined that they have to treat you in a very special way. Normally for that program, you either get the master's, pass, or fail." He said, "Given your performance, we are going to take to the Senate for the creation of the Masters of Science with distinction for you." But that wasn't all. He said, "We are contemplating the development of our campus, and we want to get some professors." When I look around at the faculty here, many of them are advanced in age. I have told my management committee that we should encourage you to become a professor. And to prepare you, we are going to invest in you. We want you to go to Canada to do the PhD in accounting, because that is an important requirement for the job. It was amazing, because I wasn't thinking of further studies. I thought I had done enough. First degree, second degree, time to rest and start to work. And there was this interesting proposition or proposal that had come to me. I was humbled, and I listened, and I found merit in the recommendation that I should go off to Canada to pursue this degree. How was that to be financed? Wholly and completely by the University of the West Indies, working with CEDA, who was doing the program for institutional development. They spent then over $500,000 Trinidad and Tobago dollars. At that time it was about 6-1, to get me off to Canada to pursue this particular program. And so when I look back at my own life, where I was and what I have become, all throughout my educational journey, someone stood by me. Someone supported me. And that is why it had become easy 15 years ago when I sat with my planning committee to determine how we could impact the constituency in a positive way, to say, let us introduce what we then described as Help a Child program. Help a Child, because we believe that education is the best gift that we can give to our young people. My life, from poverty, still in poverty, but not in abject poverty. My life example indicates that education can certainly make a difference. And so I am happy that for 15 years consistently, my constituency has worked with me to make sure that we are able to deliver, because others gave to me. My memory of gratitude lives on. And whilst I had not become the teacher, as a politician, as your parliamentary representative, I want to believe, and you have encouraged me to believe, that I have been serving you, the people of this constituency, well. And so I want to thank you for that opportunity. And interestingly, I have never took a lot of time to question why it happened this way. How come? Because I had a passion for teaching. I forego the opportunity for a tenured track professor position at the university to become involved in the rough and tumble of politics. Maybe it was that journey was really to prepare me for higher service to the people of my country. For all the ups and downs of the journey of the last 25 years, long and at times tumultuous, I still feel incredibly lucky to be representing the people from Bellevue, from Tabernacle, from Mansion, from Christchurch, from Phillips, from Molineux, from Borio, from Lodge Village, from Lodge Project, and Atlas. It is the best service that I have been encouraged and inspired to give. And that is because you have been so wonderfully good to me. And I say thank you. I look back with nostalgia because in 1993, when I was called home to be of service, my mind had long wandered away from politics because I had embarked upon a journey in the academic field. And I felt good because it was my earliest ambition to be a teacher. And when I came back to St. Kitts, to say to the leadership then, sorry, I am no longer interested in politics, I was surprised that a crowd of people were waiting for me at the airport. And as I came out and I saw the joy and the anxiety and the faces of many, I could still see Joan, I could still see Willie, and several others who were there. I had to think twice about saying no at that particular moment in time. But having failed to say no at the airport, it became difficult for me after that to say no. And so to you, the people who have stood with me over the last 25 years, some from the very beginning, some joining in along the way. From the bottom of my heart, I say thank you. Thank you, Whiskey. Thank you, Cuthbert. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Rosalind. Thank you, Elvita. Thank you, Shirley. And I can't stop saying thank you, but I must. Thanks to all of you for your support over the last 25 years. And thank you, because one of my most difficult elections was the last one. And when all or some had given up, you, the people, in whom the power lies every time, said, even if you were to stumble, let them not count you out. And on the appointed day, you returned me again. You returned me again as your parliamentary representative. So thank you to people like Al Wilson who join on, and Warren, and Willie Mercer, and the Akers family, and all of you who clamored against the odds, and Maxine Wharton and all these people. I say thank you from the bottom of my heart for your rallying. and people like Paulette, to see them all here just bring back memories, because memories don't do like people do. They always stay with you. And you, the people of number 7, have always stayed on the right track with me. And I wish that I always will be worthy of your continuing support. Thank you again to the hundreds and thousands of you, some secretly, some publicly, who have assisted me on every occasion. The Hodge family in Molyneux. And I don't want to call some names because you must leave out some, and somebody will say, Lord, he left me out. But I can't name everybody. So please do understand, each of you have a special place in my heart. Each of you have a special bond with me. To adopt part of the slogan of the member for number 1, you know me and I know you. To God be the glory. Thank you really for this opportunity. And I want to end on that note of thankfulness, because what I am doing here and we collectively are doing is about improvement, amelioration of the conditions of people, putting them in a better place to help themselves and to advance the community. And we want our young people to grow up to be leaders, strong, confident, and dedicated to service. And I wish all of the awardees and all our young people would be able to make their worthwhile contribution. I want to encourage the parents, and I'm going to end just now. I want to encourage the parents to be good parents. Being a good parent doesn't mean having a lot of money. In fact, sometimes we spend the money badly, because every birthday we want to keep a party. We want to keep a party. And we are sending a kind of value to the young people that you must always have these moments of frolic, that high points in our life are not one for prospection, even as we look back at the journey, but always for a cool moment. When I was growing up, and I'm not recommending this situation for anybody, I never had a birthday party. Never had a birthday party. Sonia, I don't think you had any. You had 2. But when your birthday come, your mother and father didn't go too extreme to get things for you that would put them in debt. When my birthday came, I looked forward to getting a red bison and a small tin of milk. I don't know how my good friend and classmate Vernal used to do for his birthday, but I always look forward to that. Sometimes we give the children the wrong priorities. That experience allowed me to live a life acknowledging and being able to deal with sacrificial moments. It is not everything and every event I practice myself to go to, that I think in my own mind that I must attend. I must go music festival at all costs. I must go to the latest show at all costs. Some of those attitudinal predisposition allow us to put ourselves in financial debt beyond our ability to contend. Sacrifice is important. Modesty is important. But then again, it is your life to live. And all we can do is to, by perhaps our own example, provide some guidance and support that will help to protect the young generation and put them in a better stead to become productive citizens. So, in closing, I say thank you to all who have come out in such large and lovely numbers today to be part of our 15th Help a Child program. I want to thank the constituency secretary, Myrtilla Matthew, and Williams, and all the others who have helped put this together. Let's give them a round of applause. And I want to thank all those who took the time to come to be part of it. When Mr. Hodge came for the first time last year, he was inspired. I hope that today the parents are inspired to do more for their children. Not more in money kind of activities, more in love, more in support for the school, more in support for the teachers. I hope that some teacher is inspired to give more of their best to the students under their watch. And I pray that our community at large becomes more committed to build a nation strong, proud, and free. Peace and prosperity must abound. To the parents and the children, a warning. Say no to gangs, for gang life is no life. Say no to gangs in our communities. Gang life is no life. It creates pain and torture, and we don't want more of that. I want to warn you about guns. You have to say no to illegal guns, and you have to stay away from those who have unlicensed guns and are trading in unlicensed guns. They are passing them around. That is why some people are not licensing their guns. The intelligence says that they are trading these guns around with criminal elements. And so you have to be mindful. If people can't respect the law at a time when the country is crying out for the lawlessness and the criminality, then you have to be careful with your association with these people. So again, thank you, Chrissy and all these people. Whenever I get to the microphone and I see such wonderful people, I just want to personally say thank you, thank you, thank you. But then I wouldn't have no speech to give. So again, I love all of you from the bottom of my heart. It has been an immense privilege and pleasure to serve you, the people of Number 7. Thank you again.
Stay up to date with news, programs, and activities of the government with SKNIS. Like us on Facebook. Listen to us on SoundCloud. Follow us on Twitter. And watch our videos on YouTube. Connect with us today. SKNIS, St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service.